Go back to, we were saying like the motive, because I feel like you said something. I had a friend of mine, and by the way, we had Kevin Farley here last week, Chris Farley's brother. Yeah. And obviously we know what happened with Chris. He was also heroin, and they tried to get to him over and over and over again, and then they eventually couldn't. 33 years old, boom, it's done, and we lost one of the greatest of all time. But what was, because I had a friend that went through it, and we talked about it with Kevin, and his deal was Vicodin. He couldn't give it up, but he was taking 25 to 50 a day. It wasn't like he was taking 1 or 2. He was taking 25. I've seen him take 10 like this and just put it in his mouth like it's candy, right? He was doing that. And he couldn't go without it. He was addicted to it. We took him to a Tarzana rehabilitation center. You know which one? There's a Tarzana rehab center. And he had to go through for 2 weeks. Came out, he was good. Boom. A week later, he's reading the Bible, relapse, done. And we get the phone call, and the rest
Who was
is
that
history.
you're talking about?
It's a good friend of mine.
Okay,
my best friend in the world.
Yeah.
My best friend in the world. Anyway, so, but the point is, I kept trying to get his motive, and it has to be him.
It has to be
So
him.
he was marrying a girl that he loved. I'm like, is the love that strong that you're willing to change for her? I don't know if it was. He had reasons with his dad and his mom. He had a brother, I'm like, maybe career, maybe identity, maybe it's we took him to church to see maybe churches, because, a lot of times it's church. A lot of people have given up a lot of drugs and alcohol because of a connection. They had spiritual connection to Catholics, Mormonism, Scientology, Christian, Jude. It doesn't matter. There's so many great stories. Even Scientology has that one place in what do you call it? The Arrowhead. I think it's Arrowhead, right? Like where there's a facility there that you're going through drugs or rehab that you go through, and it's actually very effective. I've heard it from a lot of different people that it's worked for them. But there has to be something on the individual, right? Nobody can impose you, say, you better get it done. What's the matter with you? You're going to kill yourself. That's not going to work. What was your...
So, it's hard to say, because in this conversation, you have people who are listening who are going like, I know a guy who I need that guy to have whatever I had. And I just don't know if there's a formula to create that in an individual. I think it's possible to present data and solutions, and like, when you're ready, we're here. I've got a plan that you can follow. But I do believe until the individual is ready themselves. I had multiple interventions run on me. Nothing. I would go to sleep at night for a couple of years believing I was going to die in my sleep, and was just like, well, that's what it is. And none of that changed. And I woke up one day and was just, I was in need of change. I woke up and I could not exist the way I was existing anymore. And I'm so thankful that I didn't die before that day happened. And then likewise, food and that health and my weight was another thing that, like, no matter what evidence people presented to me and what solutions were presented to me, I didn't change until I was ready to change. Having been a drug addict and morbidly obese, I've had many parents say, we need help with our kid and this and that. And there was a period in time where I would go and talk to people and talk at schools and stuff like that. And I'm happy to talk and share my experience, but sitting down with one-on-one and trying to convince them to change, that I've always had failures with. And I've always seen failures with this. I don't know that it's possible to convince somebody to change until they're ready to change. Now, that's not to say somebody comes and says, I'm ready to change, and you go, great, I can help you, right? That's possible. But I have not seen a lot of success with, like, we need to handle this guy. We need to fix him.
Oh, I totally agree with you. What I'm not asking that. What I'm asking,
what it was exactly.
Yeah, what I'm asking is, like, so for me, what I've seen is, it's a girl. You're in love with a girl. That changes, right? It's a loss of a loved one. You lose a parent. You lose somebody. You're like, dude, like, for me, my biggest, like, how I changed, dude. If you had asked my counselor in high school said, I feel sorry for your dad having heart attacks, but I would also have heart attacks if I had a son like you. In high school, there's not a single soul that said I was going to amount to anything in life, right? So I'm not the guy that's supposed to win. So The only guy that said, listen, you're not a guy that's going to do anything with your life. Why don't you go join the Army? A guy named Jesus Guerrero. Like, he was a recruiting station down from Glendale High School, because I went to Glendale High School. So he was right off of Colorado and Verdugo. Jesus said, hey, Pat, I think you need to join the Army. You got a uniform. You got something to do. You're going to travel. They're going to pay for it. You're going to be able to get the hell out of here. I'm like, oh, that's the selling point to me. The selling point was, you can get the hell out of here and just go. And I'm like, I'm in, right? I went in. Then I got out, and I'm still, determined to make money. I got dreams. I want to do stuff. I'm a performer. I'm not like a guy that's sitting around not doing shit. But my dad had the heart attack. I went to the hospital. I saw my dad on his deathbed. He lost 40 pounds, and they kicked me out of the hospital because they were not treating him good. And the lady's like, who are you? Who do you think you are? This is a government. You're not paying. Taxpayers are paying for this. Did you pay for this? I'm sorry. You can't talk to us like that. They came and they kicked me out of the place. I'm in the car, my Ford Focus. I'm crying like a little baby. And it's as if like this, the next day I'm a whole different human being. I came to work and it was done. I went working 80 to 100. I said, I'm not going to stop till that guy doesn't have to worry about a single thing about money. And it was game over. It's a 180 human being, 1 minute to the next minute. My friends would call and would go out and say, we missed the old Pat. And I said, dude, I don't miss the old Pat. I like the new Pat. So you can reminisce about the old Pat. That guy ain't coming back. I'm committed to this. But it was a moment with my father. And I've seen this happen with a lot of people in my life. I'm 43 right now. You're 1976, May 25th or May 26th? You're
25.
25. So I'm 43. So you see at 43, you see different things on what causes people to change. What was yours?
And I probably don't make it long term with the drugs without my wife also, like, in fairness. But the biggest change I saw was me getting a taste of what my life could be like with my wife, who's now my wife. She wasn't my wife then, and wanting it to be better. And that was it. That was all it took for me to go like, oh, I'm never turning back.
Go.
Yeah.
So how long you been with her?
20 years.
It seems like I'm sorry, you were way bigger when you met her.
Yeah. I met her when I was 16, fell in love with her when I was 16, was in the friend zone for a long time. And finally we started to have a relationship. And it was like the moment we started to have a relationship, I went, oh my God, I want to make sure this lasts. How do I make sure this lasts? What's the thing I can do to be the best partner to her I can possibly be? And that was the biggest change I could make.
So it seems like it was, and once that, like, the kind of connection really happened, boom, like almost like Pat's story with his dad. I feel
bad relaying that because I can't lend people my wife to inspire them. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's not how I process it, bro. The way I process it is the same goes the other way. Like, Chaz Palminteri. There's a video that's going viral with Chaz, and then Kevin Hart posted it, and it's a sick video. He said, and I shared it on Instagram today. He said, in life, you can try so hard if you're a winner to get your friends to win. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, blah, blah, blah. He says you can put all your energy. If that guy doesn't want to do it, you can't do shit for that guy. He said, however, he said a great person trying to lift somebody that has no desire won't work. He said, however, a person with potential, who has the potential, a bad person can definitely demotivate you and pull you down to their level. That is effective with everybody, right? So
crabs in a bucket.
But the point is, I think, finding the right person that you say, I'm going to do it for this person, or finding a motivation that's going to be for that person. There is a message there. There is a message to, say, I'm going to do it for this person. Because sometimes some personalities, we are more like, how there's guys that like to fight, and then there's guys that like to stop fights. There's guys that are like, hey, what'd you say? Come on, let's go and listen. And then there's guys like, I'm sorry, did you touch my friend? You touched my friend? Are you out of your, you hit him? And then boom, you're fighting for somebody, right? The flag carrier mentality of people, if they have that, they need to have something to fight for themselves. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
No, it does totally. And I like what you said about having a church, having a support group, finding a group of people that are like-minded. So if you are alone, if you are struggling with getting motivated, I think there are groups out there that you can go and become a member of, even if it's just a gym. And you're like, I'm saying hi to that dude every day, and that's who I'm going to be accountable. I don't know their name. It's
crazy.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But I want to make contact with that person, say hello, and we're both going to nod, and we're going to know we're doing this together to some degree, right? I do agree. I don't think we're, no man is an island. There's a beautiful poem, No Man is an Island. And basically it's like, no matter, and I believe in individualism. I am an individualist for sure. But that said, none of us function on our own. We're all connected to other people. And there's a symbiotic relationship that we have with other people, no matter what. That's how we are succeeding and surviving and all of that.
Yeah. Let me add one thing about Chaz. You good?
No, I'm good.
You're choking up.
It's water.
So for you, your motivation was your dad, right? For you, your motivation was your wife, or the chemistry that you had with the wife, and you didn't want to lose that feeling. It might, for me, it's not always someone else. It sometimes comes down to what's going on internally. So for me, Chaz in the movie The Bronx Tale, and I still, like, the fact that I met Chaz and he was on the podcast, it was the most surreal moment. And he gave me the card, and on the freaking card, it had the quote that I would write every single fucking day for years, and it would say, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. So for me, it was more internal, like my fear of mediocrity. I did not want to be average. I knew that I had gifts, whether that was with business or sports, or what I used to do stand-up comedy, or like whatever I did. Like my biggest motivation was like, just don't be average. Don't just be just a run-of-the-mill blah 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 person. So I no matter whatever it was that I ended up being, like, do it.
Yeah.
So what, like, to people out there, find that motivation.
Yeah.
And the coming full circle, and the fact that you brought up Chaz, I love that guy. I mean, I still, in my wallet today is the card he gave me. The saddest thing in life is
I watched
wasted
his
talent.
show. Have you seen his show? Have you seen Chaz's show? So I watched his show because, Bronx Tale started off as a Broadway show,
right,
and then it became a movie. And I think Bob saw it, De Niro saw it, and is like, hey, what about if we do this and I play your father and you play, Sonny? And I saw him, the play for Chaz. I'm not even kidding with you. He does the entire movie, beginning to the end, every line, and he acts everybody in the movie with one chair. If you've never, I went to somewhere in Fort Lauderdale by Los Olas to watch this. It was like 1,200 people in the room. You know how, they say you touch your phone 150 times a minute or whatever the number is. I didn't touch my phone once for 90 minutes.
Right.
And I sat there, I'm like, I cannot believe I didn't touch my phone. It was the performance was insane. You felt like you were in the streets with him. So Chaz, props to him for what he's doing.
If you enjoyed this short clip, click over here to watch another short clip. And if you want to watch the entire episode, the entire podcast, click here.